2.5 million daily active users, 25 million monthly active users, asking 5 million questions a day.
Wow.
That was the scale. There were many. One I remember distinctly is one fine day, everything was fine. It was not a peak traffic moment, but suddenly we stopped getting new questions. Somehow no student was asking new questions. We were all scrambling. There were no errors particularly or anything. It took a lot of time to figure it out, but the problem was that one of our tables which stored questions as they came in, we had exhausted the primary key size for that table.
Oh wow.
The size of this is 64 million
Yeah.
primary keys. So one, you can imagine the scale. Second, the weird ways in which things break, right?
Yeah.
Every time anything breaks in a novel way, it takes as much time to figure out. How do you fix things in running systems, right? It's quite creative if you have to really solve things in running systems, because you can't just modify the primary key. It will take days for such a long table to modify the primary key set. Or you can't just copy the table. So we had to create another table with a larger key space size and change our code to write to this new table, then copy older data into this new table.
Okay.
So that was a lot of mess. It took, I remember, 2 hours 51 minutes to resolve. Yeah.
2 hours 51 minutes. You
Yeah.
remember precisely.
Of that, almost 2 hours were just to figure out what went wrong, and the 51 minutes was to figure out how to fix it and then implement the plan.
I mean, I think these are the challenges with scale which people don't talk about often, right?
Yeah.
What is your experience building Sherlocks in the last 1 year? Which of these themes have come out and hit you like a wall of bricks that, oh shit, I didn't think of this?
Yeah.
Tell us about your journey.
So let me start from the very beginning. The core insight that we have is AI is helping us code faster. Generative AI is helping us code faster. That is build faster. And hence it is also helping us release things faster.
Sure.
However, if you imagine this equation, which is what we use regularly in how we explain to anyone, the number of changes and the complexity of the systems, imagine that as the numerator of the equation, and the denominator is SRE.
Does that mean that my job as an SRE is kind of going away and an agent can do my job?
So I think it will all be complementary. If you look at the equation, the numerator is increasing significantly, the denominator is still stagnant. You can't produce human SREs just out of thin air. To increase the denominator of that equation, you need to add more AI to the SRE.
Sure.
So eventually the sum of AI SREs and human SREs will together make the equation in balance, and hence the human part of SRE is not going away. I think AI SRE will take away the boring parts of the SRE job. Waking up for 2 a.m. alerts, spending your weekends, your dinners, being on call and trying to figure out things. That will quite likely go away. Then you will be figuring out how to make systems more resilient for the future, for the long term. And these are the cool parts of the SRE job, right? The app was just stuck, the memory hot up, and the eventual reason was that we were writing so many values and retrieving so many values from Redis. It was choking the network on Redis. These are some of the things that you don't see every single day, right? So it's so difficult to get to that. The hypothesis itself that this might be happening took us almost 3 hours to get to the hypothesis, make the code change and fix it. Yeah, that still haunts me.
How would have Sherlocks helped you?
The first thing, Sherlocks would have seen a problem that the request stopped coming on the application server. It would see that, what are the dependencies involved. There's database, there's cache, there's yada, yada, yada. Look at the metrics on all of these subsystems. You'd see like at least the 5 to 4 major metrics. What is CPU, memory, network, disk, etc. Immediately, Sherlocks would have figured out that, before this time, the network throughput from Redis was this much, and it suddenly shot up. And would have pinpointed within 2 to 3 minutes that this is the core problem. And this was the code change that went along with the last release. And that is the most likely cause of this problem.
So from 3 hours to 3 minutes.
To 3 minutes, yes.
And
some extra sleep. A lot of extra sleep.
Wonderful. What's a bold bet?
So 90% of the deployment and maintenance work will be done by AI, and for the rest 10%, humans will be required. These are specialist humans who are going to be required in the loop.
Which means if you are operating in this space, figure out what the 10% is doing today so that you can be in that 10%.
Exactly.
Amazing.